In January of this year, we did 45 million.
Only in January?
Yeah.
Prime's Australian distributor collapsed into administration with $7.92 million in debt and only $85,000 in cash left.
Prime is in decline. You can now get Prime for only 29p.
Just a few years ago, Prime looked completely unstoppable. KSI and Logan Paul had somehow turned a brightly coloured sports drink into one of the biggest products on the internet. Kids were lining up outside stores, people reselling individual bottles for ridiculous prices. The brand reportedly reached more than $1 billion in annual sales, and people were already talking about Logan and KSI like they had created the next massive beverage empire. Now, Prime is showing up on clearance shelves, sales have fallen hard, sponsors have disappeared, and the company distributing Prime in Australia has collapsed into administration, owing millions. So how does one of the fastest growing drinks on earth fall off this badly in only a few years? Because when you look at what happened, Prime's greatest strength was also probably its biggest weakness.
Yeah, what the numbers?
All right. Come on. Oh, God. In year one, we cleared $110 million in retail sales.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, say it. $250 million in retail sales. Oh, sorry, that was a little mistake. $110 million gross internally.
And get up to 53 quid a bottle for that stuff.
It's crazy. Even on TikTok, I'm scrolling, I'm seeing people just selling it for like £20 a bottle, and I'm like, what's going on, guys?
54 is the highest we've seen. £54 a bottle.
Prime launched in 2022 with basically the perfect formula for the TikTok generation. I mean, it was bright bottles, KSI and Logan Paul, limited flavors, constant drops, and just enough stock shortages to make everyone think they needed to buy it immediately. Instead of spending hundreds of millions on normal advertising, KSI and Logan were basically walking advertisements. And because their audience was so young, Prime wasn't just a drink anymore. Having the newest bottle became a flex. That's why the shortages actually helped them at first. The harder Prime was to find, the more rarer it seemed. But that only works while people still care.
The ROI is great on that.
Of course.
Here's what we do, bro. Maximize profits and cut costs.
What is the cost cut? Oh, you don't have to pay for ads. You guys are the ads.
Bingo.
It's the fucking Tesla model.
Yeah.
Elon never put an advertisement on TV once.
Bingo.
He is the marketing. So your whole marketing budget is you guys, and nobody can influence better than you guys can. So you saved the hundreds of millions. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The first problem was Prime's entire healthy drink image being complicated. Prime Hydration and Prime Energy are two different products, but when you spend years building one giant brand around an audience filled with teenagers, that difference becomes pretty important. The energy version contains caffeine and carries an 18+ label, and that led to headlines, politicians questioning the product, schools reportedly restricting it, and people arguing about whether Prime was being marketed too heavily around younger audiences. Logan pushed back hard. His argument was basically that Prime clearly separates the hydration drink from the energy drink, labels the caffeinated version appropriately, and isn't doing anything unusual compared with competitors. And that's fair context, but once parents start associating your brand with arguments about kids and caffeine, you've already got a big marketing problem.
Because Prime is engaged in a vast advertising campaign aimed at kids, even though kids aren't supposed to drink a drink with this much caffeine.
Actually causing harm, and the marketing, the nature of it is that it's specifically bringing more children into the product.
Yeah, it's becoming quite the status symbol among children, right? To have these drinks in hand. It's no longer the shoes or whatever, kids, popular around kids. It's about the drink. So this is really a fascinating conversation.
Schumer really cared. He controlled caffeine content levels at the point of purchase, just like we do with alcohol. Nothing we do with our caffeine level is extraordinary or revolutionary. 200 milligrams of caffeine, same amount of caffeine as in our competitor Celsius and Gatorade's Fast Twitch. We're very clear with our labeling on the product. One is in a can, one is in a bottle. One says energy, one says hydration. This one is 18+, and it's marketed that way on all social media posts. This one is suitable for all ages. I have some data for you here and some printouts, a visual aid. My audience on Instagram, only 10% are under the age of 18. And what's more, on Prime's page, the Drink Prime page, only 7.7% are under the age of 18.
But this is probably a bigger problem. Prime has insane brand awareness. Everyone knew what it was, but according to the branding data shown, only about 12% of people actually buy it more than once. That is brutal, because selling somebody their first bottle isn't enough. You need them coming back every week. Prime was like amazing at making somebody go, yo, I need that new flavor, because KSI and Logan Paul are marketing it. But after you tried it, and taken the TikTok, what's making you buy another one? Even Logan has admitted that the original hype couldn't last forever. And that's where the difference between an influencer product and an actual long-term beverage brand starts becoming obvious.
It's not as hyped up as, it was a few years ago, but as a product, you can't have something just be hyped forever. Like, eventually, it's got to cool down, it's got to cool off. But yeah, in the meantime, people are still just enjoying Prime and Lunchly. It's just...
Prime also relied massively on Logan and KSI personally, and that works great when everybody loves the influencers behind the product. But influencer reputation can change overnight. Logan was already dealing with years of controversy, including CryptoZoo. Then in 2024, Logan and KSI joined Mr. Beast to launch Lunchly. Instead of rebuilding trust around Prime, now they had another influencer food product getting dragged online almost immediately. Meanwhile, Prime's numbers were falling. According to the video, UK revenue fell from more than 110 million to roughly 33 million in 1 year. And that brand that once had people fighting for bottles was now being mocked because bottles were sitting around heavily discounted. That is one hell of a reversal.
Highly at fault, but there is some blame towards Logan because he orchestrated the team, or his manager or whatever, created the team that put out CryptoZoo. But at the end of the day, Logan Paul is human just like everyone else.
Then came the lawsuits and constant headlines. Some lawsuits were dismissed, that is important, but the damage from the headlines doesn't magically disappear when a case gets thrown out. Most people see Prime accused of this, they don't necessarily see the article 6 months later saying the case was dismissed. The video also says another Kentucky lawsuit remains active and claims marketing around the caffeinated drink was deceptive towards younger consumers. Logan and KSI have been ordered to hand over messages and emails in that case. Again, none of those prove the allegations, but from a brand perspective, having your energy drink constantly attached to lawsuits, caffeine arguments, and headlines about children is basically a nightmare for you.
Caffeine content, and I think being a drug, I wouldn't like giving it to my kids.
People unfortunately believe it. Are there any narratives that are true? Like, I've been seeing these videos lately. It's like Prime is dead. Prime sales are down.
I see that.
It's it's on the clearance section.
Yeah, I see that.
How much of that is true?
It's completely untrue. It's completely untrue, bro. If I told you the sales we were doing, you'd be shocked. People still see the value in our product because it tastes good and it's better for you. Like I genuinely see people drinking Gatorade. I'm like, what are you doing?
Do you ever think there's other brands conspiring behind the scenes to try to hey, let's knock Prime down a little bit?
I will say, I found it a little odd when Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was making a press conference about an energy drink that happened to be called Prime. It seems a little weird that the Senate Majority Leader would take time out of his day to address an up-and-coming influencer product called Prime. It is my opinion that there was some behind-the-scenes lobbying going on by big corporate giants that saw the disruption that we were causing in the market and came up with an incredibly creative way to disrupt the uptick of our brand.
And when hype starts dying, what does an influencer brand do? Try to create more hype. Prime launched more flavors, more products, eventually even protein shakes, and the marketing became increasingly ridiculous. At one point, Logan planned a fake fight with Bradley Martin as a commercial for the protein drink. And look, that's clever internet marketing, I guess, but it also exposes Prime's biggest issue. Marketing was never the problem. These guys genuinely might be the best marketers on earth. The question is whether the actual product gives normal people enough reason to keep buying it after the internet moves on to something else.
I see. Yeah. What if we tilt it down? So check out this idea. It's a commercial disguised as a fake security footage fight. Right. We have a dialogue about the protein shake as we're squared up, and then Bradley, even at one point, bro, I'll get behind you, get a waist lock on you, and I'm telling you about it.
And if Prime wasn't even doing good right now, it is doing absolutely shit in Australia. Prime has completely collapsed in the Australian distribution operation, and Congo Brands Australia entered voluntary administration after sales had already fallen dramatically. Filings reportedly showed roughly $7.9 million in debt and only around $85,000 in cash. That's an insane difference. For context, Congo Brands in Australia own 50% of Prime, and Logan and KSI have only got 20% each. So this isn't literally just Logan and KSI sitting in office running every bottle themselves, but when your names and faces are the entire brand, you're obviously going to become the face of the collapse headlines too.
So the question is, why did this happen to Prime?
Well, you are the internet's favorite branding expert, and I know you have some 4 components that are necessary for a brand. Why don't we kind of do an audit on Prime and see where their brand stood?
So the 4 core pillars to a good brand is a good product, a good story, a good experience, and consistency, right? And I think this is really a case study example of you got first purchase interest, but you couldn't bring somebody back.
Because they were missing that one component of a good product. Because it freaking sucked.
It really sucked.
Like, it was the sweetest, most artificial piece of crap to drink, and the arrogance of success on the social and digital world, I think, led them to ignore the fact that the product actually has to be good enough to get the second purchase.
But after the lawsuits, influencers, marketing, and business analysis, the simplest explanation might also matter. A lot of the people just don't like Prime enough to buy it again. I mean, I tried it and I could say it is absolutely horrendous. For example, I got like the popsicle one when they were like popping off, the ice pop one, and it was absolutely horrendous. It tasted like medicine. So if somebody buys your drink once and doesn't like the taste, none of that matters. And taste is obviously subjective. Some people clearly like Prime, people are still buying it, but it shows multiple taste tests where people absolutely destroy the drink. If your entire empire needs customers to repeatedly buy the same bottle, 12% repeat purchasing is a much scarier number than how many TikTok views you have.
Well, this is what the big craze is all about, Prime. So I'm going to taste it, me, John Fury, and compare it to my son's Furosity. So let's see, here we go. Let's just see. Smells shocking. Disgusting. Wouldn't even put that in my mouth. I'm sorry, but that is grotesque. That ain't worth... You couldn't pay me a £5 to drink that. Forget that. Good God, that was horrible. Can we move on from that? That was rubbish. What was that? Cat's piss in a bottle? It was a cross between cat's piss, dog's piss and camel piss. Cool. Don't know what they're even over that about, but anyway, I tried it, I said I would, so let's move on.
You think Prime, okay, so smells a bit high. What is that flavour? It says loosely. It's like swallowing perfume. What is that? I sent it to Nigella to cook her pork ribs in. Can you imagine giving that to a French sommelier with his big French conch? Yeah, it's like the sort of dregs of a sort of Gina de Campo tiramisu. You know, what would I give it out of 10? 0.
Prime might end up being one of the best examples ever of how quickly an influencer brand can explode and how quickly the internet can move on. KSI and Logan proved that 2 creators can compete with companies that have existed for decades, but they also proved that hype alone doesn't guarantee people keep buying forever. So, do you think Prime can actually recover, or have Logan and KSI already missed their chance to cash out at the top? Let me know below, and please subscribe, guys, as we just reached 100 subs. But you know what, let's get to 1k by the end of this year. You know, I'm being a bit generous with the goal. Anyways, I love you all. Thanks for supporting the recent videos. You guys are everything. Mwah, 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 mwah.